From the Homestead Studios in Santa Clarita, California, this is a Headache Soul production. Welcome to the Tip-Sters, America's favorite true crime podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Morgan. With me today is my handsome and talented co-host, Joshua Sexy Fingers Bevan.
Yeah, that is.
Everything you touch, you fuck.
Well. You're not.
It didn't go where you thought. It didn't go where you thought it was going to go, did it, Sexy Fingers? It did not go where you thought it was going to go. You were like, yeah, and I'm like, no.
Like, finally, she's not insulting me.
Yeah. Oh no, she is. No, she is. She is. And that is such a lie because you have touched many things in my life and you haven't fucked any of them. You have made them all better.
Well, thank you.
All better. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so Joshua had a burning question.
Oh, I really did. I mean, we there's so much in this true crime world.
Yes, going on right now. You're correct, sir.
No, my biggest thing, I've been chomping at the bit all week. You and I texted a little bit, but I'm like, okay, I really want to know since Sean P. Diddy Combs got arrested for the stuff he got arrested for, but now he's inside, he's no longer untouchable. Does that change some of the investigation for the murder of Tupac?
In my mind, no. Okay. But he has made Bruce Mendenhall look like a rookie with 300 sex toys in his truck because he had 785 dildos. So he is making serial killers with 300 sex toys look like a rookie.
Yeah.
785 dildos and 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Yeah.
That's a mineral oil. That is not good for your butthole.
The one that I
if one were to use it there. I don't know. I do not know. I don't know.
I saw one comic talking about having the same bottle of baby oil for,
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
You know how long it takes to use the baby oil?
Right. Exactly.
And
1,000. Because he has 785 dildos.
Oh my God.
785
That's
babies.
So many.
My favorite response was from Joshua, who said, can you imagine the rookie CSI agent who had to bag and tag every single dildo?
Oh my God.
Like, I guess you need the right tool for the right job.
Chief, can I take a break?
Right.
My hands are getting chapped. Can I take lunch?
445 is getting to me. It's got like 8 tentacles that open up. I can't right now. I need to take a nap.
Can you help me write the description for this one?
The Octopussy is what it's called. Make it stop. Please make it stop.
Oh my God, this poor kid.
Yeah. As I'm taking my crime analysis classes. Yeah. Right.
You pick them up with like barbecue tongs or something?
Why are we just... No, I don't know. I would think many gloves, like several pairs of latex gloves and barbecue tongs.
Sure.
Or what are they called? Forceps? Would you deliver a baby or whatever? Yeah.
Oh my God.
785.
785.
Mm-hmm.
That is
How does he sit down?
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, like, how does he shit, actually?
I can't even.
I would imagine at some point his colon's going to come out his mouth. Well, if it wasn't before, it will now. Sorry.
Hey-o.
Yeah. Little prison rape joke there, kids. Little prison rape joke.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So he's in lockup.
Uh-huh.
And
so that was a legitimate question you asked, but I've been waiting to say he makes Bruce Mendenhall look like a tiger.
No, absolutely.
I've been waiting all week to say that. But so your question
is... Sorry, I jumped the gun. I just jumped right past all of the dildos.
Yeah, you went right to the legitimate question, which is, what I love about you. I am shocked that you jumped past the dildos, though, because normally you would
because I'm the guy who lingers.
Yeah, you'd be like, kind of thing, I wonder if some are like, seasonal. Like, is there a fall one that's like a pine
beard?
cone? Yeah, there's right.
Oh,
there's
pine cone.
there's a fall one with a pine cone that tastes like pumpkin spice, and then there's there's a Santa one with a beard, and there's an Easter bunny one with long ears.
Yeah, the rabbit.
Right. There's an Arbor Day one with like mini tree trunks and leaves that come out. Yeah, he's got all kinds of shit. I don't even want to know about President's Day. It's wooden teeth. No, I'm kidding. Yes, so legitimate question. Because Diddy was so close with Biggie.
Right.
And but no.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to have. I mean, they arrested the dude in Las Vegas who shot Tupac.
Okay.
I couldn't care less who shot Biggie. In fact, I would like to pay them a reward. But sorry. God, I can't believe I let that out. I know.
That's harsh.
Tupac forever. Biggie never. I'm sorry. Biggie Smalls is Jabba T. Hutt with a microphone. He's Mr. Creosote from the oh God, what are the British dudes? Monty Python's Flying Circus movie, The Life of Brian or whatever, or Meaning of Life.
Meaning of Life.
The guy at the end who explodes because he a wafer thin mint. That's all he's eaten so much shit, and the maitre d' offers him a wafer thin mint. I couldn't eat another bite, and there's like food coming out of his mouth. Wow. And he gives him a wafer thin mint, and he explodes. That is Biggie Smalls to me. I'm sorry. I know, and Matt is not going to be happy with me.
No, he won't. I was going to say.
He digs the biggies. I don't.
He's sitting in the other studio right now, like banging on the con. What are you talking about?
You mean in across the country? Yeah.
I just picture him just in the next room.
Like, I can't believe he hasn't opened the door. Guys, cut it out. Yeah. Anyway, right. That's a legitimate question. I don't know that it would have any effect on Tupac, but yeah.
But I am correct in the idea that he might have known something, but has never really been pressed to.
I think that's very true.
Okay.
I think a lot of people know. If what they know is the truth is the other question. Well, I think a lot of people know, and I don't know that they know. Like word travels fast.
Sure.
And something that big.
Right.
And someone's going to take, credit or not take credit,
right.
But I'm sure he knows he was so close to Biggie.
Right.
But I just couldn't care if either of them just fly away. I think Sean Combs was a great producer. I don't think he was a great rapper.
I'm going to agree with you on that.
Yeah. Not a great rapper, but great producer.
I've never heard anything from him that I'm like, oh yeah, that's amazing.
Right.
No.
Right. Tupac was I don't give a shit what you think, national treasure. He was a poet and he was an activist, and he could have worked the rest of his life and changed things for the better.
Well,
so fuck whoever did it.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I absolutely agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
No, I was saying fuck people who don't agree. Not you. It was the general people who are like,
sure,
Tupac is a thug. Yeah, okay. And he's also a lot of other things.
He came out of a neighborhood that he had to be.
And he raised himself in a way that, made him successful and took care of his family and, didn't have a long enough life to do all of the things. I mean, he is a poet. He was a teenager being interviewed for some like high school project of like a TV news show for the high school.
Right.
And he's talking about politics and changing the world. And I get it. His mom was like a big ass Black Panther activist,
sure, but
she was also a very brilliant woman. And he was raised around some people that weren't great and some people that were great.
Right.
And he had his own ideas.
Right.
He picked things from them. He cherry picked things. I'm sorry. I could just go on about, I'm going to shut the fuck up now. Tupac forever. Biggie never.
Well, okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Jabba T. Biggie Hutt.
I don't have much to stand. Like I'm gonna disagree, but just sit here and do it.
You absolutely can. I appreciate.
I enjoy a lot of Biggie songs.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah.
Whatever, asshole.
Yeah.
Whatever, sissy.
But, no. I mean, I'm 1,000% agreeing with you that had Tupac's life not been cut short, this world would absolutely be a completely different place.
I think it would be a different place. It would definitely have, he would have changed music even more than he did in his short life.
Right.
And more importantly, I just think his word would have been heeded by fans and believers and whatever.
Right.
And I think things would have gotten better quicker. I mean, I am also a firm believer everything happens for a reason. And I hate that, but that's how I believe. And I also think, I'm a tortured Calvinist. I believe that everything happens for a reason, but we do have free will.
Yeah, okay.
So I also think we are powerful enough to change things, even if they are meant to happen. And the thing I think that works, and I don't want to start crying, the thing I think that works on that is love. I think love is strong enough to change something that could be potentially terrible. And it doesn't mean if something happens that's terrible that you don't have enough love to have changed it. It just, that's what was going to happen.
Right.
But you can, still hope and dream and love hard enough that, I think things,
absolutely,
Yeah. So anyway, I think we have free will, but everything happens the way it's supposed to. I had a professor who just was like, "You're driving me crazy." And I'm like, I can't help it. Not that I feel. And when Joshua and I were talking that there's so much going on in the true crime world, I did not think we were going to be talking about dildos. And I never think we're going to be talking about dildos. But I also hate that word. It's always a
pleasant surprise.
It is. Surprise!
Surprise dildo.
Surprise dildo. I hate that word. Like vibrator, and I get dildos are not movement oriented. They're, they can, you can move them, but they're not like, they don't vibrate usually. It's two different things, but it's just a dumb word. I wish there was another word for plastic penises or rubber or silicone. I was corrected. I said something about, I don't like rubber penises, and a friend said, well, first of all, they're made of silicone. And I'm like, okay.
They could be made of rose quartz.
Exactly. Oh, you have interesting connections. Yeah. That, I don't think I want like a gem chip up my hoo-hoo or up my back or whatever. I don't want that.
Just to charge it or...
Wow. I really didn't think we'd have this conversation.
Put it in the full moon.
No, we're not having that conversation. Right. I was actually trying to go past that to get to the other stuff in the true crime world. I was told that Joshua will not drop the dildo. He will not drop the dildo.
Really
if only we had someone who could edit things out, and that would be a drop. Anytime you get on my nerves, Joshua will not drop the dildo. Joshua will not drop the dildo. I would just play it over and over and over again.
Oh my God.
Along with the vuvuzela or something like that like a morning zoo. Yeah, exactly. A trombone. Yeah. Oh my God. Joshua will not drop the dildo. Joshua will not drop the dildo.
We need a morning zoo show.
Oh, no, we don't. No, we don't at all. We really don't. Yeah. Can you imagine a morning zoo true crime show?
Oh, God.
We come close enough already.
Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the true crime podcast world, this is.
I have to say, a reviewer years ago said what I thought was perfect. She said, there's, joking and banter up front, and then Melissa gets down to it. And I'm like, yeah, I do get down to it. So I'm not going to quite get down to it with this, but it is interesting. There's never such a thing as closure. When someone says there's a glimmer of closure for this woman's family, she was a hiker in Colorado who disappeared 19 years ago. She was like 34 years old, and she had, a mother of 4 kids, and she was very conditioned, but had never, I guess they call it the 14,000 club. If you can hike to a peak that's over 14,000 feet tall. So this was in Vail, Colorado, and this was going to be her first 14,000. They call it, I guess, 14K or something. So 14,000.
Okay.
And she went with a male friend, and they got close to the peak, and she said, I'm exhausted. And I'm sure it's like the thin air, it's a combination of stuff, because she was so fit. She was so, if anyone coulda, shoulda made it, it would have been her, but something, happened. And she said, I need to rest. And he said, okay, I will meet you on the way down.
So he's
Just wait here. I'll meet you on the way down.
Oh no.
Yep.
Here we go.
And she's never found again. So and we might do an entire episode on this because it is kind of interesting. The thing that's fascinating is there is a search and rescue group in the Vail Mountain Rescue Group, and it's run by a male, but it's a lot of females.
All right.
And the male had a dream that this woman wanted to be found by a female. I don't know if something bad had happened to her.
Oh.
Michelle Vanek is her name. And she, the only thing that had been found of hers was a type of hiking boot that had been found
Just
like
one.
over a large elevated area landed on a flat mesa kind of thing. One hiking boot.
One boot.
In all these years.
Okay.
Now, earlier in September, the female members of the Vail Mountain Rescue Group found clothing and a backpack definitively tied to her.
Oh, okay.
Just recently.
Wow.
So they have some idea of what happened to her. She veered off, because to me, I'd be like, oh, her male friend killed her.
Right.
That's immediately what I would think.
For sure.
Because I'm, horribly jaded.
Oh.
And no, I guess he didn't.
Okay.
But it's so funny because I don't go out of doors typically. I don't like it. Yeah. I like seeing it through a window.
Yeah, that's nice. It's nice out there.
As we're sitting here, there was a sweet little hummingbird in the backyard, just like, I was like, that's so nice to see.
Yeah,
I love
right
that.
Through that clear glass there.
Yeah. And the screen. Yeah, I love that. Not a hiker, none of that. It's interesting. As I was walking Siren in my neighborhood that's paved with concrete, a very outdoorsy family lives at the corner of my little cul-de-sac street. And on the back of a truck, it has a picture of a dog at a campfire with like a little stick roasting like a marshmallow.
Oh, okay.
And it says, never hike alone.
That's great advice.
I thought so too. A lot of people hike on their own, like, oh, it's the daylight. I know what I'm doing.
Sure.
And then it becomes night and too cold. And then you're, people are like, people don't just go off and die. Yes, they do. It's easy to become dehydrated.
Yeah.
Right. And then maybe hypothermia sets in. I mean, there's so many things that can happen quickly and people don't realize it.
Or you get your arm caught between two boulders.
And have to saw it off with a pen knife.
Something like that.
Chew it off.
Ugh.
Perhaps you have a sharp dildo in your pocket and you... See, I know I'd bring it back.
Yeah, you did.
See what I did there?
Yeah, you did.
Right. So
don't never go hiking
without a dildo.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible human being. So, what's not terrible is Magic Mind. I love it. Was that seamless? So professional. It was professional.
So perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I am so happy to be an ambassador, and I love my Magic Mind. I told Joshua that I was a little flipping back and forth last night because I didn't take a Magic Mind sleep elixir.
Right.
And I should have.
Yeah.
And I just love it. I mean, my daytime elixir, which I am reading more and more about now. And I'm so happy to know you can do things like put it into your favorite like smoothie or shake.
Okay.
I was worried that it might, like disseminate the stuff and it might not work as good, but nope, you can add it to a shake. They put recipes on the website.
Oh, good.
And say, hey, share your favorite. I just like to drink it straight. It's 2 ounces of joy for me.
Right.
I just love it. So I will tell you, the sleep elixir a little more difficult for me to get down, but it's worth it.
Okay.
It's just the flavor is just it's almost like spicy.
Oh.
Like clovey, or I have to,
okay.
I should probably know what's in it other than, yeah. It's all good stuff. Take my word for it.
Sure.
So I found out that you can I always take my Magic Mind elixir in the morning and then use my Mountain Dew Kickstart, which is truly the love of my life. And it's, it helps keep me, motivated. I have some energy and less stress. I need it now because I am working and going to school at the same time. It is amazing and I love it. helps me keep my mind sharp and it helps me keep motivated. I'm definitely less stressed. And I have had a couple of things that have gone wrong, and I would normally have sat down and cried, and I didn't. And I am grateful to Magic Mind. So the sleep elixir, I will tell you, I might love it more than the Magic Mind regular elixir, which I just read. You can also take it if you are feeling sluggish in the middle of the afternoon. You can take it then too.
Oh,
you don't have to take it in the morning.
Good. Okay.
I like it in the morning first thing, but I don't feel like it totally, jacks me up and spikes me in any way. It keeps me level. But I think if you take it in the afternoon, if you typically are sluggish in the afternoon, it would keep you nice and level until you go to bed.
Nice.
And the sleep elixir is amazing. It helps you fall asleep faster. It helps keep your quality of sleep, more steady. It's amazing. Oh, here's some things in it. So here I was like, what does it taste like? Ashwagandha, passion flower, L-theanine, lavender, lemon balm, valerian, chamomile, 5-HTP. I mean, it's got such great things in it.
Yeah, wow.
And I really love them both. I love them both very much. And I hope that you will too. I hope you'll, give it a chance and go to magicmind.com. But I urge you to take a look, listen to what I'm saying, but take a look at the ingredients that are inside and see if it works for you, because I couldn't help but love it any more than I do. I mean, it's a daily habit, like way more than I ever thought it would be. I just can't be without it. So now I think this is going to be the last episode in the Highway Serial Killer Initiative.
Okay.
Because I can't take it anymore.
We're done. Well, I mean,
I saved this one to the end.
Okay.
So how many times have I said I don't like cereals?
Lots of times.
Lots of times. Even Joshua, who never listens to me, knows I don't like serial killers. He has paid enough attention because I've said it. Repetition is the key to, memory. So
you think I come over every week and sit here and don't listen to you?
You're just like dildos, 785 dildos, baby oil, 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
1,000 bottles.
What sort of dildos did he have? Yeah.
That's definitely still where I'm at.
I know. That's who you are. This one bothered me the most. And we have, covered some real monsters. This one bothered me the most. And I was unaware of him, which is shocking. And I have the feeling a lot of people aren't going to be aware of him. But I think once you hear, you'll know why he is the worst for me. So I was unaware of Edward Surratt, Surratt.
Okay.
He is from Pennsylvania and has a pretty interesting background and a really weird life and what he has done, what he's still doing. He's 79 years old. He is, I don't even know what to call him. I mean, oh no, he can't be 79. He's born in 41. He's 83.
Okay.
83. I think when he was 79, that's it. When he was 79, he confessed.
He confessed to some more.
Yeah. That was it. I was like, why did I have that stuck in my head? So they have here listed 18 plus victims. I think I have 20 that he has confessed to.
Oh my God.
I had to go, I just showed Joshua, I had to go and write them by hand because there were so many, I was getting them confused.
Wow.
So we're just kind of going to go through chronologically. And when I read these things, you're going to be like, wow, like how?
Oh, geez. Okay.
So this is what he looks like now. I want to show Joshua, and I will put his, booking photo up. This is the most recent. He's, 83 and I have to show you the other, one of my favorite things is, and it's so expensive, but it's worth every penny, my subscription to newspapers.com. And going back and finding old newspaper clippings is like a treasure trove. Not only do you find, back then, I'm going to say it, I don't care how shitty I sound, there were real journalists.
Right.
They just, reported the news. It wasn't their opinions. But what else I enjoy are sometimes they have pictures and you're like, What in the holy hell? So look at this picture of Edward Surratt as a young man. Look at that hat.
Oh boy. Wow.
It was probably in the 50s when he was a young man. And it's like, I mean, he's got like a hat tilted to the side. He looks he
looks pretty jazzy. He's
dapper as fuck.
Yeah.
It's just terrible. I mean, yeah. And he was arrested when he was 36. So he has spent way more than half of his life in prison. And when here's what he looked like when he actually got arrested.
Yeah.
Pass. He looked like, what did you say? Pass. Yeah. Yeah. You shouldn't smash. No, shouldn't smash. That he looked like, if Richard Pryor had survived the fire.
Oh God.
That he set himself on fire. That's what he looks like. He is a mess, man. And now as an old man, he's kind of thin and, but yeah. Anyway, so he's born to a very wealthy family. His father was an entrepreneur and he, had the best of upbringings. His father, Arthur, I shouldn't say he had the best of upbringings. There are rumors that his father was abusive, and his mother didn't, take up for him, but he was extremely smart. He went, to high school and he was pretty good up until the 8th grade. He was on honors lists and he had, friends who thought highly of him. Starting in the 9th grade, things started to go down. He spent more time in the streets instead of studying. And he was sort of already into crime in the 50s. And his parents were like, look, please, he'd gotten kicked out of school. And his parents were like, look, please go back. So he went back and he actually ended up graduating from high school. And then he is arrested for hitting a police officer in the face. And then he was sentenced to 14 months at a camp in Cumberland County in Pennsylvania. So when he is released from the camp, he is supported financially by his parents and he is accepted into Youngstown University in Ohio.
Okay.
So that's where the Ohio part comes in, that he actually lived there. He didn't really give two shits about college and he gets expelled in 1963 and he goes back home to his parents' home. So for a year, he does nothing. He just kind of knocks around, lives off his parents, and then he gets drafted into the Army in March of 1964.
Okay.
So he is serving in Fort Dix, New Jersey, and he gets disciplined twice in the Army for injuring another soldier with a pipe during a fight and abandoning his post.
Jesus.
He's then arrested by local police for driving illegally while intoxicated and a weapons possession charge. So he is dismissed from the Army in August of 1965. So he goes back home. His father had passed away in June of 65. So he inherits his father's business, but he doesn't know anything about what to do. So the company goes bankrupt and he, this is so odd to me. He enlists in the Marine Corps in October of 1966.
Huh. Okay.
Can you enlist in the Marine Corps when you have been kicked out of the Army? Is it because it was Vietnam?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I mean, was he actually discharged dishonorably or yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works if it's not. I don't think once you get a dishonorable discharge from any branch, I don't think any other branch is going to take you. But yeah, different times, draft times.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. He's dismissed from the Army is all it says.
Yeah, I don't know.
But then he enlists in the Marine Corps 2 years later.
All right. So he's older at that point then.
26.
Yeah, okay.
So in spring or 25. 25. In spring of 1967, he's 26. After he completes his training, he is sent to Vietnam.
Okay.
He is in a tank battalion, and he actually fought during the Tet Offensive in Viet Cong. In 1969, during one of the big skirmishes, he is wounded in the chest and severely concussed after an explosion, and it ruptured his eardrum. So over the next several months, he is in treatment at a military hospital, and then he's released in 1970. In September of 70, he is demobilized and returns to the U.S. But between 67 and 70, he took part in 11 military operations and was awarded the Gallantry Cross and the Purple Heart.
Wow.
So I am not going to give him a pass because of the concussion. Lots of people, have CTEs and they don't go on to kill over 20 people.
No, yeah.
A lot of people recover from CTEs and have, dementia or end up with health issues, Parkinson's. But, I know we don't know a lot of what happens, but I'm also just going to mention that Israel Keys was in the Army and also got some awards. He didn't get the Gallantry Cross and the Purple Heart, but he was, decorated in his branch of the military and went on to, kill 11 people.
Yeah.
So, he returns home to Pennsylvania and he marries and he moves to North Carolina. And about the only thing he can find is a job as a truck driver. And he, at that time, starts to exhibit really antisocial behavior. And he's probably suffering from PTSD.
Yeah, absolutely.
In 1973, he is arrested in Virginia Beach, Virginia, because he tried to rape a 13-year-old boy. In March of 1974, he was found guilty and convicted, and he served around 4 years in prison. He's paroled in January of 1977. He returns to Pennsylvania. Now, because of him attempting to rape a 13-year-old boy in Virginia Beach, Virginia, he is sort of kept under a microscope with the police wherever he goes.
Okay.
Even in the 70s. And if you remember, the 70s and 80s are called the golden years of serial killers. I don't know why, but it's dropped off since then. But the 70s and 80s were like, hey, it's a wild time, discos and, killing truck drivers.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, it's so weird to me, but statistics kind of bear that out, that the 70s and 80s were pretty high times as far as serials.
Wow.
And I just love this topic so much. So he is, definitely still under suspicion in April of 78. And he is driving for a trucking company that is based in Charlotte, North Carolina. And between 1977 and 1978, he delivered things in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina. There is, unfortunately, about 27 unsolved murders in those areas during those 2 years.
Wow. So still 27. Okay. So the suspicion is he might be involved and not confess to those, to some of those.
Yes. Although we will hear that later on, more recently, he has confessed, which is why I have 20 names written down.
Oh, God. All right.
So at first it's like he killed up to 18 people. And then I'm like, well, I have 20 names myself. Right. It's 19 or 20. I think it's 20. And then now they say he may have killed up to 27 or more. But he has, he's either been indicted on or confessed to 6 and 6 is 12 and 8 is 20.
Okay.
So yeah, he has either been indicted on or confessed to killing 20.
Wow.
And the ways that he did this, in a sense, a little bit like Israel Keys, who, buried kill kits across the country. His motto was like, I won't get caught, I'll never kill close to my home. And then he killed close to his home in Alaska, and that's how he got caught. So Edward Surratt has, if you wanted to make the case that do truck drivers get a job that allows them to travel around and kill, he'd be the one.
Okay.
As opposed to somebody who, may have been able to keep it in check and then gets a job and then is like, oh, I can do this. I think he sought out a job like this.
Gotcha.
So in June of 1978, he is seen in his hometown of Aliquippa in Pennsylvania, and he's in a car that belonged to 66-year-old Luther Langford. Luther had been killed at his house in South Carolina on June 1st. So from June 1st to June 6th, he had traveled from Columbia, South Carolina to his home in Pennsylvania, to his hometown.
In his victim's car.
In Luther Langford's car.
Wow.
Luther had been bludgeoned to death with a baseball bat, and his wife, which you will hear, he loved killing couples. Sometimes the wives would be somehow spared. His MO was to kill the men immediately and then either rape and murder the women.
Oh, geez.
3 of his female victims have never been found.
Wow.
Wives of men he'd killed. So Luther had been beaten, and Luther's wife had been beaten, but she managed to survive.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He is found in Luther's car, and the baseball bat that he used is in the car, and his fingerprints are on it, and their blood is on it.
All right.
He is an interesting fellow because here he is at the age of, 35, 36. Police officers arrest him or attempt to arrest him while he's in Luther's car. They fire warning shots. He resists 7 officers. He escapes and he hides in an abandoned metal plant on the Ohio River.
Oh, wow.
He is not a big man. He was bigger in his mid-30s. He's a small, thin, frail man now.
Okay.
But I don't know if he was on like maybe angel dust or something.
Oh, okay.
He was very much into drugs, which you will find out later why he gets arrested. Mm. So, the police are searching for him, and they, finally just have to give up. So they put him on a wanted list. They look for him for several weeks. They can't find him.
Oh, but they know it's him.
Mm-hmm.
They ID him somehow.
When he is stopped for driving Luther Langford's car.
Right.
His fingerprints are on the bat, and Luther's blood and Luther's wife's blood are on the bat. And they're along in that car. There are a number of items belonging to a disabled Vietnam War vet, which is ironic since he was also in Vietnam. He was a 30-year-old vet named Joseph Weinman. He's, paraplegic.
Oh, geez.
And his 29-year-old wife, Catherine. They were beaten to death on September 30th in Pennsylvania in their home. He was listed as this suspect, but they didn't know for sure. But then they find items in Luther Langford's,
Sure.
So he also murdered 28-year-old Frank Ziegler with a .38 caliber revolver. His home was a few, houses away from the Weinman's house. He murdered Richard Hyde and his wife, Donna. They were killed with a shotgun in Moon Township, which is a part of Pennsylvania. I have friends who live in Moon Township. That was December 4th. On November 20th, he murdered 29-year-old William Adams and his wife, Nancy, in Fallston, Pennsylvania. Adams' dead body was found at his home, and his wife is still missing.
Wow.
He was a truck driver, would go town to town, for some reason really enjoyed couples, going in on couples, killing the husband immediately, and either raping and murdering or just raping the wife and beating her, and then sometimes she'd survive.
Wow.
New Year's Eve of 1977, he kills 64-year-old Guy Mills, his wife Laura, and their 36-year-old guest Joel Kruger with a shotgun. Credit cards, receipts, and other evidence shows that he was in Ohio, not far from there's other murders that occurred,
Wow.
So here we are in June of 1978. He's in Florida. He stops in Volcano Beach. July 1st, he breaks into a house and attacks the family of 3 who lives there. He beat and terrorized the adults. He sexually assaulted their 15-year-old daughter repeatedly. But instead of fleeing the scene, he gets drunk, uses some sort of drugs, and falls asleep in their bedroom.
Oh, my God.
The father manages to free himself and he contacts the police. That's where Edward Surratt is arrested. And they are doing a deep dive investigation, and they find all of this evidence that he has, in what he has with him in his truck and around. They feel like they can tie him to, at this point, 18 murders.
Wow.
So his trial begins in the fall of 1978 in Volusia County in Florida. By September 20th, a jury has found him guilty of burglary, assault involving rape, and threatening with murder. On October 27th, he is sentenced to 2 life sentences with an additional 200 years. Following that trial, he is extradited to Lexington County, South Carolina, where he's tried for the murder of Luther Langford and the attempted murder of his wife. At that trial, he confessed to the murder of 56-year-old John Skellins, who was shot with a shotgun in his home in Baden, Pennsylvania in 78, as well as attacking his wife, Catherine, who was, again, beaten severely, but lived. So because he already had, 2 life sentences plus 200 years, the prosecutors refused to prosecute or charge him with those 2.
Wow.
I know. So he has been in different institutions across Florida. In May of 1983, during a transfer to Polk County, he attempts to escape by attacking a police officer and seizing the vehicle, but he was, prevented from doing so. So he's charged with attempted escape in May of 1994, and he gets an additional 2 years and 6 months. In 2007, Edward Surratt inexplicably confesses to 6 additional murders. The murders of David and Linda Hamilton, committed on September 20th of 1977 in Beaver Township, Ohio. The murders of 63-year-old John Davis and his wife Mary, he killed with a shotgun in Beaver Township in November of 1977. He then claims to have killed 17-year-old John Feeney, who was shot to death on October 22nd in Findlay Township, Pennsylvania, while he was trying to meet his 16-year-old fiancee, Renee Greger. After finding Feeney's body, Greger was reported missing, and no one knew what happened to her. According to Edward Surratt, after he killed John Feeney, he took Renee hostage, took her to a wooded area, and threatened to rape her, and then shot her in the mouth and buried her.
Jeez.
He agreed to indicate where he had put Renee Greger and Linda Hamilton's bodies and testify in other murders if he could get transferred to a more lenient penitentiary in South Carolina. He thought the conditions were better, and they denied his offer, so he just doesn't tell them where Renee and Linda are.
Good.
Fuck off. And then in 2021, he's in Florida State Prison, and he confesses to Pennsylvania State Police that he killed William and Nancy Adams, Guy and Laura Mills, Joel Kruger, and John Skellins. The district attorneys in those counties where the murders occurred agreed not to prosecute him because he was already doing 2 life sentences plus 200 years plus.
Right.
So I was like, why wouldn't you, do this? Why wouldn't you take him up on it? And no, he doesn't deserve better conditions. But I thought, they would want to know where, 3 of the females that he,
Sure, find the bodies.
right. So here was what the chief of police said, and the district attorney, David Lozier from Beaver County in Ohio, said, transporting someone who is serving a homicide life sentence in Florida up here would be risky to him and the people transporting him, to the jury and the court personnel. It's important to get the closure, and then, it's more important to get closure than another conviction for a homicide. So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. So, this is from KIRO, and it's like, hey, he committed 18 murders. And it's like, yeah, I think it's a lot more than that. What's interesting, and I don't want to dig too much into his mindset because I can't imagine, there were children in the home several times and they were left unharmed. Small children, like he would go on a spree, like, when he killed the Mills, Guy Mills and his wife, Laura Mills, a short distance away from their home, he killed 36-year-old Joel Kruger.
Okay.
Actually 3 miles away from the Mills home. It's like, I guess he would go on a spree. I hate to call it a spree, but kind of a spree. I mean, I can't imagine being a murderer and then, prosecutors drop charges against you, because it's like he's already, indicted for killing so many people.
Sure.
We'll just have to let these go.
Well, I don't know. Is it let it go, or is it just like, hey, we're not going to throw good money after bad? We already know he did it. Do we really need to spend all that money on the courtroom and juries and when he's already, it doesn't change his sentence.
Right.
He's spending the rest of his life inside.
Right.
So I get that side of it, but as a family member, I would want the conviction. I would want the body. I would want the body exhumed and then, bury in the family plot, or, whatever. That's
a very good point. I mean, one of his victims that I didn't even, know about until later was a beating death of Catherine Felicki. She was a 70-year-old widow, and her naked body was found in her bathroom. I mean, he what's so interesting is he would beat women to death, sometimes beat men to death. 38 revolver, shotgun. I mean, it's interesting.
All over the place.
Yeah, weapons. And what you were saying makes very good sense. But Mr. Skellen's son said that, this isn't a big weight off of me when he confessed to killing my dad, but it's still good to finally hear that he fessed up.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There's no closure.
Sure.
The best we can hope for is, justice. And I don't know that, I mean, he spent way more than half his life in jail, but he did so much damage in such a short amount of time. Here's William and Nancy Adams, and Nancy's body's never been found.
Oh, man.
And they were discovered by their 2 children, Wendy, who was 4, and Billy, who was 7.
Oh, God.
They were asleep. And apparently
they slept the whole time.
Apparently several kids slept through their parents' murders. And Billy ends up calling his grandmother. He's like, I don't know what happened. I can't find mommy. She's never been found. And daddy has a hole in his chest.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, God. At 7 years old, you got to live the rest of your life like that. You
found your dad with a hole in his chest and your mom's gone. So the picture I was talking about is from June of 1978 from the Pittsburgh Press. And it's Edward Surratt with you don't ever see him with a smile. So he has a smile on his face and a hat jauntily, at the side. I mean, I can't even. Yeah. So here we go. One of the investigators said he was a machine. He was a machine. It's so he would, sometimes kill the husbands right away and then take the wives with him. He actually took Linda Hamilton, who, still missing,
Right.
with him. And outside of his truck, there was a man's boot prints and a woman's bare footprints that led away from the driver's side of the car. And this is so heartbreaking, but Linda Hamilton was a suspect in her husband's death at first.
Oh, geez.
Because she disappeared.
Yep. So his body's there.
Mm-hmm.
She's gone as if she killed him and ran away.
Uh-huh. And I will tell you that the investigator who said he was like a machine said, I have to admit this case was in shambles. 10 years ago, our department was not up to this investigation of a major crime. They tore through the house and they destroyed a lot of evidence.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Linda has, has never been found. And after 7 years, she was declared legally dead by a judge.
Man.
Yeah, but at first it was like, she killed him and ran away.
Right. So that's the rumor that rolls through town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, she didn't. It's heartbreaking.
That's horrible.
He escalates in late 1977. He kills John and Mary Davis before he kills young John Feeney and takes his fiancee Renee. He also then sets the Davis's house on fire.
Jeez.
They are 61 and 63. Their son-in-law can't get a hold of him on the phone. And he shows up and he's like, well, their house is on fire. And their 2 dead bodies are laying in there.
Wow.
Yeah. Renee's dad said, I think they were going to meet at a pizza parlor, and then we told John to have the car back by 10. Oh, no, it was Renee's father. Said, okay. John's parents said, we asked John to have the car back by 10 p.m. Because his mom had to take the car to work the next day. And they get kind of abducted. He takes John in the car, kills him in the car, and then takes Renee off to what he said was the woods. But John is found in the car the next day, and he had been at a gas station and filled it up for his mom.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Sweet kid. Wow. Gonna get home in time for curfew, take his girlfriend to get pizza.
Wow.
And, his mom was going to take the van. It's like, you can take it, but make sure you're home by 10.
Mm.
And he went to fill it up. And that's where Edward Surratt gets him. He's sitting at the steering wheel of the car, and the motor is running, and it's off of an old road near a strip mine.
God.
Yeah. He was killed with a shotgun blast to the neck, and the only thing left of Renee was her purse and her jacket that are in the car. Finally, in 2007, they say, what about Linda Hamilton? What about Renee Greger? And he goes, yeah, you know what? She's unrecoverable.
God.
Look at how beautiful Renee was.
Oh, wow.
What a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
And in love with John Feeney, and he is being a good kid, filling up his mom's car that he got to borrow to take her out for pizza.
Yeah.
And then gets,
God,
abducted from a gas station, pulls over on the side of the road, shoots him in the neck, leaves the car running, takes his girlfriend into the woods, rapes her, murders her, buries her, which is also something different.
Oh, usually no.
No, he didn't bury him.
Okay.
So I feel like the last word should be given to John Feeney's mother. Rita Feeney said, life in prison, that's not severe enough. I would like to take his hands and pull his fingernails out by the roots while he is awake.
God. Yeah, I imagine. And
I don't blame her. No. Her sweet son was filling the gas tank. He was coming home in time.
Yeah.
And a man who's drunk and drugged and, I don't care how many concussions he had.
Yeah. No, I mean, we did not treat our veterans coming home from that war well, but this is
true.
This is not an excuse.
It is not.
No.
Both of those statements are true.
No.
Yeah. So now you know why I just don't want to do any more serial killer truck drivers.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Especially him, because of the voluminous amount of victims and because of the way he did everything so differently. He was, I can't believe, I feel like the only thing that got him is that he got drunk and passed out and did drugs and passed out in a home, and the father was able to go break free, because I feel like he would have just kept going.
Yeah. Wow.
And who knows how many victims, and we still don't know for sure. We know the escalation happened between 77 and 78, but who knows how many people before that? I mean, there are still 7 or so more murders that were where he was. I mean, I counted 20.
That's craziness.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm done.
That's it. No more highway murders on the highway.
No, I can't. We have 2 cases coming up that are very interesting. One is a cold case that was sent to me by a friend whose family member is seeking some help, and they need it. It's an interesting case that was not taken care of well the first time.
Oh no.
And I believe there are definitely things before people start passing away that can be, found that can exonerate one person and potentially show that one or more other people could have been responsible for this.
Oh, okay.
So, and none of them drive a truck.
No.
So,
yeah.
So if you have a tip on a missing person or unsolved homicide, or just want to suggest a case, please give us a call at 832-TIPSTER. That's 832-847-7837. We also want to remind you, if you are enjoying this content, please leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. We would be very grateful. You can email us at jttipsters@gmail.com with any case suggestions. If you can find us on our social media platforms, you can message us there. Just the Tipsters Facebook page, at JT Tipsters on Instagram, at JT Tipsters Pod on Twitter, and more cowbell.
If you would like to support this podcast and get early access and other cool murderous swag, go to patreon.com/justthetipsters.